Je bois sans dire à tout.
What is going on, internet jerk faces? Welcome to Nocturnal Transmissions, presented to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's your boy Andy, and of course, always with me is the homie Robert.
Yep.
So what's going on, Rob?
Well, not too much, man. Just a lot of. Actually, you and I have been hanging out a lot these last few weeks.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of each other. They're just hangouts and various podcast business.
Yeah, just like it's always a pleasure, but it's been but it just seems like it's mostly business.
Mostly business, but
yeah.
I mean it's still fun doing it, despite some of the challenges and stuff that we've been going through. But we've been working through it. We've been finding new stuff, a lot of learning involved, but we're getting there. We're having a good time. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it's been very interesting because I think this new thing that we're working on is the first time I'm not also participating in, but I'm very much. I'm
involved.
Yeah, I'm the behind the scenes guy. But for this upcoming project, I'm very much the behind the scenes guy. I'm not in front of I'm not the talent. So it's different and it's interesting. It's different.
Weird.
What was that?
Yeah, it is a little weird that way because it's we've been so used to doing stuff together.
Right. Yeah. It's been everything has been kind of. I'm sorry. What?
I was saying we had all the interview segments. We've been doing this, and we're all at least two of us have been together working on stuff. And now this is we're working together, but yes, we're not on camera. It's a very different thing.
Yeah, because I think we're very much an ensemble kind of podcast that now that one of us is the lone talent in front of the camera. I guess it would be a little disconcerting or even a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's taken me a couple of times getting through it, figuring out how I want to be on camera, making sure that I'm engaging the audience at the same time. I want to do well with what I'm doing. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I'm really enjoying it, and we've had a few issues getting the video to work.
Right. Yeah. A lot of the technical issues. Issues.
But we're getting through it, so that's the important thing. It's just taking a little bit longer than expected.
Yeah. This whole venture is pretty much like our Disneyland.
Right.
A lot of initial hiccups, a lot of things to iron out, and a lot of things that we just have to get through by just having experience and learning from it. So
exactly. And I think we're starting to learn from it quite a bit. So I'm really excited for when we do put it out. I'm hoping that now that our people who do watch us or listen to us that it's something that they can enjoy, or new people come in and see oh, hey, look at this, it's kind of cool. And
right.
They
Yeah. Yeah. No, especially because I'm definitely working on upping the production values. If not in the video edit, but just in general, the feel. Give it maybe just a little bit more polish than what we've been offering. So yeah,
Exactly.
so look forward, guys. You know.
Exactly. And it's been kind of, well, we do a lot of the, I said much of the filming in like my place, and so it's like we're all each segment I think that we do like in a different part of my apartment. The outside.
Right.
It's weird. And then changing up like the set a little bit, and at the same time, like there's also people that are here, and it's like, I need to use the bathroom, or can I go to somebody to eat? It's kind of working through those issues too. Are kind of
yeah. I mean, because right now you got a house guest, with you, and so yeah. Just the other day when we were filming, it's just like kind of like trying to remain quiet and not trying to make too much noise that might bleed its way into the sound for the sound for filming and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's even like with you there too. We they get to. It's been kind of warm, and my AC is kind of loud, so we can't use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we get thirsty, and it's like.
Oh no! Yeah, I was like sweating bullets, and not just because I was nervous about sound issues or anything like that. I was just like sitting there and just like, oh my god, I'm like roasting in my own juices over here.
Yeah, so it's definitely difficult, but like these are the things that we start off early, and this is what we remember. It's how we get closer, and later on when we get bigger and better, we don't have to. This stuff kind of isn't as big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, if this does well, and we're able to get big enough, then we could. Get our own studio space and to like really up the quality of what we're offering. So.
Exactly. Because I know like our new segment, I have a lot of like big ideas, like stuff that I want to do with it. We're starting off a little on the kind of on the low side, and I'm hoping that the traffic picks up on that segment and. That we can actually do quite a lot. I have a ton of ideas. So.
Right.
The other thing that we've been doing after we do our filming and all that stuff is you and I have been starting to watch a lot of movies together this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what is slowly becoming what I feel is like a movie of the week segment between us. Whether we're talking about some sort of movie or watch a movie together. Last week we watched was it Shadow of a Doubt by Alfred Hitchcock. One of his earlier films.
Right.
And what was kind of cool is you and I both kind of came into the fold. We had never seen it before, didn't really know much about it. And what were your thoughts? What do you like? What do you like, not like about it?
I enjoyed it. It was, as you said, that it was one of Hitchcock's earliest movies, and it was very much a suspense thriller kind of movie, and I actually liked that. It was so we were so far removed from the time that movie was made. That we as you said, we went into it like really cold, and it was for me at least, it felt like nothing was really telegraphed or nothing was overtly kind of like foreshadowing future events. At least in at least in terms of like. The visuals or like the semiotics of modern cinematography and movie making, but yeah, it was just very enjoyable because it was it's very much what was it? A movie of its time, and it'd be hard to imagine them trying to adapt that same story for modern audiences or modern times, because one of the aspects or the elements to it was the flow of information, and just how slowly information actually used to travel back then. I mean, nowadays, something happens, and there's someone with a smartphone there to live stream, and you instantly hear about it, and it's very like nowadays it's very now kind of what is it?
That instant gratification.
Yeah, the instant gratification, and like you just information is relayed a lot faster, and there's sometimes like there's no way of hiding from things anymore.
Right. Yeah, and I feel the same as you. I really liked it. Not like I said, not knowing anything going into the movie, and the acting was. I thought the acting was really good. Didn't really. It didn't telegraph anything. It was just kind of you're always kind of questions like, did this guy do it? Did he not do it?
Right. It was very much like, did he do it? Didn't he do it? There's like the title of the movie. It's like Shadow of a Doubt. It's like, so maybe he didn't do it. Yeah. I think one of the things in the beginning we were like, okay, this guy's in like some sort of trouble, but it's not explicitly stated whether it was like mob trouble or government trouble or bookie trouble, which is kind of technically mob trouble, but
Yeah. That was the one thing. It's like, yeah, you don't actually, it's not like you see him like stabbing a guy or kicking some guy's ass, and then
right.
It's like, oh yeah, this guy definitely is some sort of like what the trouble is. It's
right.
Like, you really don't know. Is it like it's a police? It's police after him. Is he in trouble with the government? In trouble with the mob or some sort of gang or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. Or is it all BS? Or was it just kind of he got set up or something?
Right. Yeah. That's another thing. Is like, was he just an innocent bystander who just got caught up in some sort of a mess, and then it was like, oh, you got the wrong guy, type of deal.
The other thing that I found kind of funny about the film, that the guy who plays Charlie, which is a guy about Joseph Cotten. He's a pretty famous actor back in that era. Was friends like Wilson Wells, Citizen Kane, a lot of movies. His character was quite serious, and you felt the tension in his performance.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like that I don't know if this was done on purpose, but a lot of the actors or the characters that are kind of the side character in the story seem a little bit on the crazy side, in a sense, where you have the ones that are enamored by Charlie, like his niece.
Yeah, the main character.
Yeah, his sister,
mm-hmm.
And a lot of other characters, like they fawn over him, but it in such a weird way, and a lot of the characters are just weird.
Yeah. Well, I think the fawning is just, I don't know. 'Cause I mean, the story is set within a small California town, but back then everything that was everything that was new and exciting was happening, East Coast, like New York and things like that. And so I think part of that was like admiration, or that sense of people being enamored with Charlie was just like, oh, you're from New York, you're from back east, you're basically what is it, like the center of the world, you know. Also, of course, you're so much more worldly and da 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 da, and so of course there'll be a little bit of that kind of like googly eyes for him.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was just like, some of the way that his niece, who's also named Charlie, kind of the way their interaction with each other, especially in the movie, was a little, would be considered very weird nowadays.
Yeah, a little bit on the creepy side.
Yeah, we we kind of had our Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of moments,
right?
Where, we kind of, which also makes that fun.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
So their relationship was, especially today, would be considered like, yeah, that's just weird. There was the character who played the dad. Who was him, and he had this weird, creepy friend who for a while I was like, is he part of this too? Because they have this like ongoing gag between them, like they're trying to come up with these scenarios of how they would kill each other.
Right. Yeah. Because they were like reading these mystery novels of people and like kind of exotic ways of killing people. And I think the dad, he was more of the practical kind of method of killing people. Which is like hit him over the head with a lead pipe, or just hit him with your car. And as opposed to like the creepy neighbor friend, he was more like the exotic type. Like, I'll use a poison mushroom, or I'll feed a hose from into your bedroom from a running car and kill you with carbon monoxide or something. Something very like exotic and strange.
Yeah, it was all very. Like I said, some of the characters were very weird, but the overall story of the film, the suspense that the audience is constantly in concerning Charlie's character, that was the fun part of the movie. And it definitely it moved along at a little bit of a for today's audience, probably a little bit slow pace, but it definitely moved at a good consistent pace, and it kept you on your toes. And once it's kind of revealed, Charlie's what happened, or what he did, then it's like now the tension becomes like, okay, much of the main tension is between Charlie and Charlie, the main
the uncle and the niece,
the uncle and the niece, and she understands like what he did, and it's like, what is she gonna do about it? And that's kind of the tension that it ends becoming in the second act. But overall, I really loved it. I recommend it. Not my favorite Hitchcock film, but one that I'd never seen or heard about until recently, and I'm glad we watched it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, me too. I can't. I'll be looking forward to when we watch North by Northwest.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. That's gonna be really exciting because that's another one I know about. I haven't seen it, but it's one of those movies that they do a lot of parodies and
a lot of references and
exactly. So I want to see exactly what the hype is all about. I know it's a good film. It's got a lot of great actors, so I'm excited to see that. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. We've been trying to see that movie the last 2 times we've been over. We just run out of time and get tired, so it doesn't happen. It's for 1959, I think it's.
I believe so. Yeah.
Late
50s, for sure. Yeah.
It's kind of long.
Right, even for back then, it was probably a long time.
So.
I mean, it doesn't beat those epics from what's his face, like the Ben-Hur guy.
Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
With, King of Kings and Ten Commandments.
Right.
I don't think He didn't do Ben-Hur, but Ben-Hur's another one of those like big epic type movies where it has like an intermission. Oh my gosh! I mean, they're great movies. You don't feel like it's been that long, but you finish the movie and it's like, fuck! Like, how long have I been watching this movie? But no, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I also watched while on my own. I watched Window finally. I got to see that.
How's that?
That so far I like. That's probably my favorite Hitchcock film so far. Jimmy Stewart is really good in it, and it's kind of there's always this like constant. I like a good mystery, and like kind of it's same thing with like Shadow of a Doubt, where there's that tension like, is this all in what his character's name is? Is this all in his head? Is he just like because he's bored and because he has a broken leg and so he can't go do anything?
I mean,
he's just spying on his neighbors, and it's like, is he just like creating these scenarios in his head, or is he just really that smart and he's seeing something that nobody else is seeing? And so that's the whole tension throughout the movie, and it's so exciting. And I'm glad that's another movie like it's parodied and like referenced a lot, and it was good to finally see the original why that happens, why it's referenced.
I guess in a more comedic bent, like how you're saying that maybe these nefarious or sinister scenarios are in his head. It's kind of like those guys that do the bad lip reading.
Yeah.
But it's just, of course the bad lip reading is a little bit more comedic, but it could be still taken as the kind of within that same vein, because the bad lip reading guys are just taking scenarios, but then like they're just inserting their own kind of their own kind of perspective or like idea of what could be being said.
Yeah. And that's it. It's definitely. I loved it. I think so far that's my favorite Hitchcock film. Just that tension is just constant throughout the entire movie, and it's saying, don't get caught. It's like, and but finally, he starts to be able to convince some people that there might be something going on, and you look at it and. That's another movie where it's a little bit of a time warp, just because some of the things that he uses as clues to, why he believes this guy that he's spying on killed his wife, would be kind of awkward in today's culture, just because there isn't as much of I don't know what the word I would use for it. It's just something that you wouldn't necessarily see or think about today when it comes to how he came to the conclusion that this guy killed his wife. But that's another one that I recommend anyone to go see. It's so good. And even for an older film, it's still, I think that's still really good today. Like as far as like pacing and tension, it's not like actiony, like action type of movie, but it definitely
like the fast cuts from
Yeah, exactly. But it definitely has like the pacing of like keeping the story moving along. That people that are kind of biased from older films, I think they might like it. So that was but yeah, North by Northwest. That's gonna be a good one. I'm looking forward to seeing that film tomorrow. And I think we're gonna watch Casablanca.
What was that?
We're gonna watch Casablanca together, right?
Oh sure, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see what was that black actor in there, but like he doesn't actually play the piano.
Oh, I forget who the actor's name is, but I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
like he's like yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie. Yeah. Oh no, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam. He's like play it again, Sam.
There's yeah. Well, see, and that funny thing about that, there's I don't know if you've seen if you've ever watched Cinemassacre channel. Man, they had a couple of videos talking about movie quotes or like movie or TV quotes and stuff that is either like misquoted or misunderstood. And but like for whatever reason, that misquote becomes the actual quote that people think about.
Right, yeah. Like beam me up, Scotty, or
right, and it, like that never happens.
yeah.
Like play it again, Sam. It sort of kind of like he says that, but it's not exactly those words. Another famous one is like Luke, I am your father.
Right, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm your father.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just funny stuff like that, but everyone knows. Play it again, Sam. Beat me up, Sky. We all know what we're talking about. It's funny how that becomes the quote. And there's also they did a cool video on it was a Angry Video Game Nerd episode talking about the Berenstein Bears game and like remembering, because a lot of people remember it as being like the spelling of Berenstein. Like they remember it one way.
Right.
Never that.
Yeah, like bear as in like the animal bear. But
it's the way that Stein or Stein is like written. It's like a lot of people like forget if it's supposed to be E-I-N, but a lot of people think it's A-I-N or something like that.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about it is that it's not just like one person that remembers it wrong. Everyone's like, yeah, you're an idiot. But
it's like people within a certain generation, like me, you, people who grew up in like the late 80s, like 90s, they all remember it a specific way. Thank you.
Yeah, that's and I forget what I'm drawing a blank on what the effect is called, but supposedly it's like a theory that helps like prove like parallel dimensions exist.
Or time travel, right?
Yeah, either time travel or like parallel dimensions.
Yeah, it's like that thing. It's like that thing in Back to the Future. When his dad stands up to Biff, it causes an effect that ripples throughout the timeline and everything. And then like so when he gets back to his time, like everything is different.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of one of those like fun things.
Yeah.
But I like talking about it and stuff like that. That's it's just kind of it might be all BS, but it's still kind of like fun to.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just a fun thing to think about and kick around and try to work out the logic and try to fill in like those inconsistencies and theorize. It's all it's all it's all in good fun.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to watching some of the movies with you. I think that'll be kind of like our fun little thing now that you're coming over to film the other segment too. We get a chance to do like a movie of the week segment. A movie that we watch. Heck, like we've been watching a lot of good ones. We've been watching like a very bad one too. Just kind of throwing bad one.
I know, right? Did you watch Battlefield Earth?
Oh God! Yeah, I remember that movie. That was awful. God. Wasn't that Battlefield Earth? That was supposed to be a Scientology film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the original story was written by L. Ron Hubbard, and and John Travolta, who's a huge Scientologist, funded it and like produced it and all that other stuff. And I think it was supposed to be the first. I think it was supposed to be the first in a new action like trilogy, but because it was so god awful that no studio wanted to make another one.
Well, they do have the money to do it if they really wanted to. They could probably
Yeah,
give
but
it
then yes, like what
production.
studio would want to like distribute it and take the risk of not making their money back.
True. But yeah, that's God, that was so bad. The other, it kind of like with the games. Sometimes there's a sick satisfaction in playing crappy games.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel the same way with movies sometimes, where like they're so bad, but at the same time, it's almost like fun to watch a really bad film too.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a couple different categories of that. There's bad where it's just like, God, why did I waste my time? And like, why did I sit through this?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one where it's like, it was so bad that it was almost good with like how comically bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely sat through kind of those like terrible films.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite shows as a kid growing up, and well, even to this day, I still watch them episodes to this day. And I still watch episodes to this day. It's Mystery Science
What was
Theater.
Oh, Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, I was saying like I was talking about a show that I watched that as a kid. That was one of my favorite shows.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched a lot of those like horrible like old sci-fi horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
and you make fun of it, make fun of them. Some of those movies, like, I'm so glad it was on this. I don't know if I would want to watch it by itself. There was one, I think it was Santa Claus versus the Devil.
Santa Claus versus the Devil?
It was so bad. That movie is awful. But
how? Santa Claus versus the Devil?
Yes.
How? When was this made?
Like 1953, I think.
What?
It was an international film. It was done in like Mexico or Spain, I think.
Oh, okay.
But it was just. I'll have to show you some clips to it when you come over tomorrow.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was so bad.
Yeah, like, how do you?
It's weird. It's really weird. But I remember like there was I watched that last Christmas, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just I was like, hey, let's watch like a bad Christmas movie. And so I had a bunch of I have all the old MST3K episodes, so I took a look at that. I was like, well, let's see if they're what like doing. And I saw that, like, let's watch this. This looks like it's really bad. And turned out it was. I don't know if you've seen the new one, the reboot on Netflix of MST3K, but they did a fantastic job. It has that same vibe.
Wait, what was it titled again?
I think it's either straight Santa Claus or Santa Claus versus the Devil.
Oh, that's a remake.
No, I'm talking about like MST3K. They rebooted the series. It's been off the air for like 10 years, and then Netflix redid it.
I don't think I've heard of that one before.
Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay. Because you were using the initials, so yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
MST3K. That's the normal.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That. Of course. Yes. Of course.
My bad. I should have shortened it.
Yeah. I guess I'm not as big a nerd as you were.
That's probably true. I think of our group, I'm definitely the biggest nerd. You guys go out. You guys, you and Jane, Stanton, Jason, all you guys, like, you guys go out a lot more than I do. Maybe you guys go out and actually see like the sunlight, like the nightlife more than I do. I tend to be like more of a, hey, let's watch this really bad old movie. Let's see how this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we all have our own things.
Yeah.
We all have our own things.
I've always
It's
been
perfectly fine.
Kind of like.
I know. Next time, come out with us.
I mean, I still go out every once in a while with you guys. I still have a good time. I just, I gotta.
Yeah, next time, come out and experience it with us. And that way, the next like crazy story that we tell, you'll be like, I remember that. I was there. And maybe even come up, come up with some of your own crazy stories. So for when you have kids, you're like, oh yeah, back in my day, I did something that I was crazy and uninhibited and completely reckless.
Exactly. True. I should probably do that more. I just feel like it's well, you guys are older than me, but I remember, a lot of times like people that we end up talking to who I feel like are end up being like super young, their early 20s, and then they talk to me, and I just feel like I'm like 20 or 30 years older than like the stuff that I end up like talking about. Right? They look at me like, what is that? It's like, you don't know this, you don't know that, like, and I just feel it makes me feel so old.
I mean, I get it, because half the people that I meet going out, it's just like I'll bring up something from my childhood or something, and because I am a little a bit older than some of these people, they're like, what's that? And I have to take like 5, 10, 15 minutes to explain what something is, and then then they'll get the reference, and then it's like, oh, okay. It's
but
like,
then it's not funny.
huh?
Yeah, that is just a baseball moment where you're like, great.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not that much of a sports guy, and so sometimes people, when some it's like you when you talk about sports stuff, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at explaining things out, and because I know I've been Dancer Jason's been getting more into auto racing, and I've been trying to teach him a lot more about its history, who the top drivers are, who's good today, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm a sports nerd. I'm a gaming nerd. I'm starting to become a movie nerd. I'll always be a Simpsons nerd. I reference Simpsons. I think at least once a day I shout out some sort of Simpsons reference.
Right.
Even when I'm by myself, I think I'll be going through a scenario, and I'm thinking about oh hey, this happened in Simpsons. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'll be at I mean, me too, because they'll just they'll just flood into my brain, because what is it? I'm at a coffee shop or something, and I hear someone talking about, oh man, I need coffee so much, they should just hook it to my vein. And then I just blurt, I kind of under my breath just hook her to my vein, the Barney, Barney Gumble, when he wins that film festival, after making that film about his alcoholism, the prize is like a year supply of Duff, and it's just hook it to my vein.
Yeah, it's they have a gas tanker truck filled with Duff beer.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many great, and that was Mr. Burns' film was a little bit of mixture of, I think it was Ben-Hur and some other that was it
was just a huge
his film was supposed to be on.
It was a huge hodgepodge of epic movies or award-winning movies, and kind of moments out of movies that are supposed to tug at your heart. You know, like the E.T. thing, the E.T. When he
Right,
ostensibly
right.
plays the role of E.T. and he's like, oh, Elliot, I'll always be right here, and then they're like, and then he gets in the spaceship and flies away. It's like, oh, total rip, and the audience wasn't having it.
Yeah, he plays Jesus in like his like Ben-Hur like style, like you truly are the king of kings.
Right? Yeah.
Drink up, Jesus.
Ben-Hur.
So bad.
Oh man.
Mr. Burns is great. I also quote Futurama is another one that I've been quoting a lot lately too. Bender is my favorite character, and there's a lot of great like Bender one-liners that I love. One of them was like, "This is the worst type of discrimination. The type that's against me."
Wait, what was that from? Was that a Simpsons reference, making a reference to something else?
That was a Futurama reference. That was Ben-Hur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was an episode like where they were trying to get a military discount on gum, but they're like, "Well, you're not in the military, sir." It's like, this is the worst type of discrimination, the type that's against me. Some stuff like that. I'm always like quoting stuff like that, or remembering stuff like that from as I'm going through my everyday life. So there's some people that were huge fans of like Seinfeld, and there's a lot of like you go through everyday life. Hey, that's from Seinfeld, or like Friends. That's another one. How I Met Your Mother. That's another one that a lot of people have a lot of closeness to. It's just kind of fun. It's basically like how these shows kind of leak into pop culture and everyday life like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But that was definitely a nerd in a lot of those spaces. So. And well, hey, you're joining in on my nerddom with you're watching these films now. So join the club, buddy.
I don't know if I go so far as nerddom, but maybe just maybe becoming a little bit more culturally read.
Hey, yeah, okay, I'll take that. That's
I mean, I wouldn't, because like we're not watching like we're not kind of watching like those old 50s B movies or something. We're watching like what a lot of people would consider classics and like and must see movies. Especially Casablanca, North by Northwest.
They're all in those.
They're all the AFI like list of like the 100 most like influential movies or something. Something like that.
I watched Citizen Kane twice just to make sure I didn't. I felt like I missed something. I'm glad I watched it the second time, but it's the Family Guy reference. It's like it's a sled. I saved you 2 boobless hours. Well, I had 4 boobless hours, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, but you knew it, and yet you still watched it.
I still
don't say that Peter Griffin never warned you.
He did warn her. He did warn me. That's
He did warn you.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I liked it. It's not the best movie of all time. I don't agree with that. But hell, I've been talking about it for like the last few weeks, so I must have some sort of like for it.
Probably. I mean, there has to be something, because people don't usually talk about stuff that they hate. Well, they do, but but with enthusiasm though. You definitely talk about Citizen Kane with enthusiasm. As opposed to people like talking about a movie that they truly hated, it's usually like, oh my god, that was garbage, never watching it again. Done.
even like when it's like a bad film, I always try to like see what was good about it. What went wrong? What was good about it? Was there any possibility of it being saved? And I try to analyze a little bit deeper than like this movie sucked. So there's been a few times it's like, yeah, this movie did kind of suck, but I kind of like being able to take a little bit of a deeper look and seeing what was positive about it and see if I can take something from it. And when it comes to some of these like older films too, is I a lot of times I think that if we don't talk about them a lot, they're gonna maybe not. They might fall by the wayside, and we get further and further along the history. These movies, especially when it comes to like black and white films, or just because it's old, a lot of people aren't going to appreciate them as much. Especially in this era of reboots and remakes. And especially because some of the reboots and remakes are not very good, and that's what people are going to remember about these good classic films. Is like, well, that movie sucked. It's like, well, yeah, the new one sucked because they tried to like put on because they tried to throw in like our. It's kind of like looking at like the Bible or something in history, and we try to place our own current ideas and like what works today in that like type of film, but it doesn't work, and so it's like that's why those movies suck. And you go back and watch the original, and it's like, hey, and you look at it in that lens of history, and it's like, hey, this is actually a really good film, and you see like why it's a classic. But that's why I'm always like kind of I think that we should be talking about this stuff, these films, and because otherwise they're just gonna go away. No one's and they'll just kind of die out in history somewhere.
Too true.
Same thing with games too.
What was that?
I was saying I kind of feel it's the same way with like games too, because it not to put like games on like the same level as for instance films. I mean I like both obviously.
Well, I mean, the gaming industry is bigger now than even some movie studios.
That's true, but it's definitely like it's an art form that should be appreciated. And, a lot of people now it's like they'll look like, well, it's an NES, so that doesn't look good. The graphic, it's like that's not the point.
Yeah,
it's still just because it's an older game doesn't mean it's a bad game. I mean, there's a reason why like Super Mario or Mario Brothers are such a huge icon. Or why Zelda is such a huge icon. So they got to start somewhere. And so it's, you just gotta. I think they definitely need to be talked about, played through, watched, appreciated for what it is. Not have like a recency bias, like where like what's new is the best. It's not always the best.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I could held on to like my old game systems, like my Sega Genesis or NES or Super NES, sometimes I appreciate the simplicity of those early games and game systems over the new more modern ones where you could like connect to the internet and play with someone like halfway around the world and all that kind of stuff. And
well, it's kind of getting lost now. Is the like the on couch like playing with friends. Like there's some like modern games now where they do have like a the ability to play with two players, but you can't. But they have to like they can't be on the couch with you playing, which is kind of unfortunate.
I mean, it's just like it's kind of the argument of like how we're more connected, and yet we're more connected, yet we couldn't be further like separated.
Yeah, we're not exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of a sad fact. That's why I kind of like some of those older games or older style games, because it brings back the time where like you can sit down with your friend, pick up a controller, and like you either work together or battle it out, and have just a really good time.
Right. Right. Who didn't love like the after school or Saturday afternoon video game sessions where you got your friends together, you got some soda and some pizza, and then you just made a day of it.
Oh yeah, that was I loved those times. Heck, I was doing that even like through pretty much like all my school years, elementary, middle school, high school. That was the best. And even sometimes, like if we weren't necessarily playing the same game, or like if it was like more like didn't have two controllers, but like trading off, like playing and stuff like that. That was so fun. It gave us a chance to kind of just like catch up and talk and grow close together. Man, I've heard a ton of games.
Don't forget all the shit talking,
Oh yeah, of course.
You totally rag on your friend for missing, the feather in the leaf in like Mario 3, or
how did you miss the whistle?
Yeah, or how do you miss? Yeah, it's like, you idiot.
Idiot, dumb, stupid.
Man, those were the days. Man.
I can't get that high note from All in the Family.
Oh yeah. Damn, All in the Family. Man, Archie Bunker. I missed the Archie Bunker types.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that you kind of look at that and you think of him as like, oh, that guy is like the biggest like racist, sexist guy that there was, but Carol O'Connor, like, he actually like was the exact opposite of that. That guy was like super nice, and like he really cared about a lot of different people.
I mean, yeah.
He did a lot for like kind of breaking those barriers, and like, I love how we just got into this all of a sudden, but yeah, I think he was in the Heat of the Night, and
right.
Did like All in the Family, and those are pretty big shows, trying to those issues were like really like placed out in front, like almost like not to I'm not sure like make fun of them per se, like kind of like a Chappelle or Dave Chappelle, but more of let's like bring this out in the open so people see how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
And that like they feel the tension. Because you watch like All in the Family or Heat Night, and there's a lot of you feel that tension.
It's completely the exaggeration to make the point.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't. I mean,
no one really thinks.
What is it?
Oh, I was just saying, it's like no one really thinks of like for those shows, actually that's what they were trying to accomplish. It was like, well, that show's racist, sexist. Like that was the whole point, is throwing that stuff out in the open to show how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I mean, this past week I kind of had a similar thing with this interaction on Facebook. Because this girl I knew, she put out this question about when should a woman offer to pay for a date, first, second, third, fourth, and and so I kind of took kind of like an exaggerated point, and I was like, maybe the question should be when shouldn't a woman pay for a date? If women are empowered and equal and all that jazz, it shouldn't be a problem if they paid for the first or the 100th date. And I definitely got a reaction, and
I saw the reaction. I was like, oh yeah, that guy was not happy.
Yeah, no, it was funny because, and of course, like he had to take it back to like 100 years ago or something. It's like, oh, women were treated so bad; they were like, basically property, and like their families, went in negotiations with a man to get, take them off their hands, and they paid him a dowry to take them off their hands. I was like. It's like, okay, and so I would bring up a point. It's like, well, yeah, well now, more women are working now, and sometimes they make more money even than the man. So he's like, then so they should be perfectly comfortable paying for a date then. And then again he like pivots or tries to pivot, and then I have to like bring it back, and then he tries to kind of do like a mic drop moment on me, and he lays, he sent, and you saw it. It was like this long thing about like probably like the most pathetic men you can imagine. It's like because he was like talking about, oh well, there's like women with men who don't even work, and the women are the one that work, and the men don't do anything. And I was like, then what kind of women have such low self-esteem that they're with these kind of men,
Yeah.
And then.
What I thought was funny about that interaction is that the question that you posed, which is a very legitimate question, it's not a bad question, I don't think, but he never answered it.
He never just any of the points that I was making. He just kept like spinning and spinning, and it's like.
And the funny thing about it was, he goes ridiculous and brings it all the way back to like how women used to be treated like property and all this. Like no one's talking about that. We're talking about like this is like,
we're talking about nowadays.
Because things are different nowadays. Obviously, like,
exactly.
No one's saying that we want to go back. No one's saying we want to go back to that time. We're just like, but now with the way things are today, this is seems like a pretty appropriate question.
Right. Yeah. Because what did I say? Because I had in one of my responses to his comments, I was like saying, I guess I'm confused. Our adherence to quote old-fashioned end quote conventions to relationships between men and women. I'm like in the face of the modern progressive reality. I would I'd make the analogy of it'd be trying to like taking a selfie with a rotary telephone.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so like we have to like either what is it? We have to embrace this new progressive reality where men and women are men and women are equal, and the onus of providing is not necessarily on the man anymore, or we have to live by those old-fashioned conventions of relationships between men and women.
Right. That's the but the sad thing is like this could have been like a really like fun, interesting discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you might not have agreed,
right.
it definitely was like, hey, that's something worth thinking about, like on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he didn't think it that way. Like he and what's sad is the art of the conversation, the discussion, kind of the here's a let's think about this for a second,
mm-hmm.
and like and talk about it like adults.
Mm-hmm.
That the art of that is lost.
Yeah.
Just because someone doesn't agree with you, or it says something that's like you might think sounds that's fucking ridiculous. Like why would you think that way? But instead of just engaging you like a normal person, he had to go in this like crazy rant that come on, like I'm you're not like being a troll. You're asking a very serious, like, and I think a very honest question that nobody talks about.
Right, and yeah,
maybe doing it in a little bit of a trollish different way. But that's okay.
yeah, yeah. I was being I guess.
I feel like maybe like 20%.
Yeah, I was like being 20% troll. I was being 20% troll.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like all of his responses, were just trying to shut me down. You know, he was trying to and he was trying to go for that KO. You know, like in to use boxing terms. You know, he was trying to go for that KO like round one. But because I was a little bit more savvy, and maybe and I had better footwork, and I had a better game plan. I was able to last. I think not literally,
much
but
longer than him.
Yeah, much longer than him, because he thought that his long response was like the finishing blow. But I was able to dodge it and then give my final blow, and I actually did I did get the KO, because after my response, there was no more reply from that guy.
Right. Yeah. But the sad thing is that conversation and discussion and like discussing ideas, it's not supposed to be a boxing match. Like there's not necessarily a winner or a loser. It's just more of presenting ideas.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it, and you're like, you know what? That guy had a really good point. I didn't think about that. Or
right.
It's more of the that guy is a freaking loon. I think his idea is stupid. I'm not going to use it.
It's just like it's just just let people talk, and if their ideas or stance is valid, then it should make you scratch your chin and be like, But if it's not, if it's stupid or if it's like ridiculous, then the words are just the rope that they use to hang themselves.
Exactly.
So, but it was pretty funny though. I was just like, dude, yeah, because I showed you the exchange. And I was like, dude, he's not answering any of my questions. He's not addressing any of the points that I'm making. And
that would require him to think outside the box.
Yeah. I mean, he was basically just like throwing platitudes at me, and like and just like, oh, women were treated like objects. Like, well, yeah, but now they're not. Now they have jobs. Now they can put on shoes and go leave the kitchen and have a job. And maybe sometimes they can actually pay for dates, and even on the first one.
Yeah.
Because like the last question that I asked him was, or like the last point that I made was that if a woman merely offers to pay for a date, or offers to go halvesies, she's applauded and praised and it's like, oh, how independent and modern you are. But if a man if a man doesn't pay for a date, then he's like he's instantly attacked and ridiculed, and then he's and his manhood is called into question.
Yep.
And so it's like how if men and women are supposed to be equal, then how is that fair? Why can't we then ridicule and lambast women for not paying for a date or going halvesies or what have you?
It's kind of a weird double standard that's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I got hopefully he does that guy that I had that interaction with does take the time to look back at what I was saying, and maybe he goes, that guy had some pretty interesting points, and they, and
Now that's the hope. Like it's sometimes like in the moment it's like you get heated and you don't really like think about what you're doing or saying.
mm-hmm.
But my hope is that at least like somebody goes back and like, you know what, kind of fucked up there. Maybe I should think about
Say,
it.
I done goofed.
I constantly do that. I was like, you know what? I'm just kind of being a dick back there. Let me back up this and like listen to what that guy was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're coming up on our hour here, so I think we're at a good point to say see you later to the audience and.
Okay, just quickly, Rock This Way 7 commented, laugh out loud, and cuck. probably when we're talking about my interaction on Facebook.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, kind of cuckish behavior.
It's okay. He's probably like of the same ilk that like, hey, if my girlfriend wants to eat herself to death, I'm gonna take there and cheering her on.
Oh yeah.
That was
I
one
guess.
Of the few videos I was like really.
Yeah, that was one of those legitimately gross kind of stories.
Yeah, cause it wasn't like so I don't mind like the people who are like overweight or whatever. Like, because some of them are like actually like really nice. They eat a little too much. Whatever.
Yeah. Right.
But then like when people are literally like eating themselves to death, like that, it's scary. Like it's really, and it's with Dan one time he was hanging out one time. There wasn't really anything on TV, so it's like let's just flip around and see what's going on. And like TLC, they have this show called like My 600 Pound Life, and it's the same thing. It's just like horribly like putting themselves into this situation, and I'm both like mortified and like I feel really bad for these people.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're shocked, but then you also feel sympathy and compassion for these people.
Yeah.
Which is it's a really weird mixture.
Help them almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really sad like that they whatever is causing them to do it, they just can't stop. It's really sad.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same thing with anyone that's just like they're addicted to something. They literally cannot stop themselves. Like they can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, I mean, because there could be, for some people there might be actually like legitimate medical reasons. Like there's like that one condition, Prader-Willi syndrome, where like there's something wrong within like the brain where it, the connection to like the stomach and the brain, so the brain never gets that signal that the stomach is sending saying I'm full. And so like they constantly eat without a feeling of like satisfaction or satiation.
Wow, that's gotta be really awful.
Yeah, and then people with that particular disorder or syndrome, they have like at night their loved ones have to lock up their refrigerators and cabinets, or they'll just like they'll just eat themselves to death.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know like sometimes like you have like people have like thyroid condition where it's like I mean like they drink water and they gain like 5 pounds. Like it's something like along those lines.
Right.
Some people do it out of like they're just horrifically depressed and it eats.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they just have like bad genes. Like they're just always like they're always kind of like having that battle. That's gotta be tough too because you can't enjoy. Because there's so much great food.
I know. Oh my god.
Like trust me. Like I wish I could like lose about about 10 more pounds, but I love eating. Like there's so much like great like food out there. I love taco, like stuff like that, and it's that last 10 pounds that's tough.
I mean, yeah, I just wish.
Self-control.
Yeah, I just wish, my lifestyle was just a little bit more active, and I mean, and my job would, involved a little bit more activity. I mean, I'm a photographer, and I get a lot. I move a lot. When I'm taking pictures, or when I'm trying to, when I'm setting up for a shoot or what have you. But still, I don't get as much activity as say someone like a farmer or someone that works in construction or any of those type of more manual type of labor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's so severe. Like we probably could lose weight, but we're a little bit on the chubbier side.
Yeah.
Not like it's not to the point where we're eating ourselves to death.
Yeah.
It's not. In a lot of those cases, sometimes it's not just there are people who have self-control issues. That's kind of it's sad, but it's like okay, that you don't have self-control. That's kind of more on the nervous side.
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, but when you have those like conditions like that one you described, like that's got really horrific. That would be like one of those like things you hear about like tortures of hell, like where you're.
Oh yeah, like Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gluttons.
Yeah, and it's just that's got to be really terrific.
I don't know. You just okay, really quick, but you just mentioned you just kind of got my brains working, and then when we started talking about gluttons and hell, I was reminded of that Treehouse of Horrors on The Simpsons, where Homer makes that deal for the devil with the donuts, and then like it's like, oh, you like donuts, huh? And then like there's like force feeding him donuts, and it's like
more.
It's like more. It's like I don't get it. I forget who they said. It's like, I don't get it. So went crazy after 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh. God, I had to watch the episode. I can't remember who they were referencing there. That was a funny Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But as you were talking about that, I was thinking the same thing you said.
Really quick, Rock This Way 7 says, let's train. I don't hate my body that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do like, I still do like running, and I've been, I talk about bowling a lot, but yeah, I'm in a bowling league, so I mean, I'm still like active, and I get up a good sweat. But just I probably got to do more like stuff that works out, like my belly and my. I definitely want to get more. I don't necessarily want to be like muscle beach. I just want to be flexible. Get the muscles built up.
Right.
My joints and stuff. So as I get older, when I know that stuff's gonna like start to break down, my muscles will kind of help like slow that process.
Right. Yeah.
More able to kind of like do things. So that's my goal. But I still do like running. I'm still active, but yeah, I could definitely be more active. Like I worked when I was in the Navy as a kid. But I think we're coming up on our. Actually, we got some bonus time from here talking about horribly obese people.
Right. I know, it just happens. It just flows. Can't help it. I mean, is there anything, one final thing you might want to say, just in closing?
Just to be on the lookout for our new segment that's coming up. If you don't like me, you might not like the segment. But if you, I personally, I think we're far, I've been having a ton of fun filming, and I think it's going to be really good and a lot of fun for the audience. For those, if you're gonna watch it, comment, like, subscribe, tell me what you think, what you want to see next, and I really can't wait till we get it out on the web. I think it's gonna be a lot of really fun, and we'll be doing some more We'll have a bunch of episodes done by the time the first one gets out there. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for the fans.
All right.
And of course, always check this out on our Instagram handle, the Circle of Jerks podcast, and our Twitter on @podcastcoj, and you can always hit up myself or Andy on those same avenues as well. What's your you have your Instagram? It's Andrew the Film Dog. What's your Instagram? It's Andrew the Film
Oh yeah, Andrew the Photog.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
And on Instagram. And then I don't do Instagram, but I do Twitter. I'm at RoboRice. So you guys can, if you want to hate on me or talk to me, you can hit me up on that. But yeah, you can also contact me through the podcast Twitter as well. We'll do our best to keep in contact with you guys and hopefully satisfy your hunger for nerdiness and other avenues of direct podcasts.
All right, I guess that about does it for us. I hope you enjoyed this. We did have a few. I think, yeah, we had one more viewer than we had last week. So, yay!
Hey, all right, we keep going with one.
I know, right? Just slowly, inch by inch.
Slowly clicking away.
Right.
Hey, and we got some more comments this week, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Just like,
that'll
it's the same way. It's the same way you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Alright guys, this has been the Nocturnal Transmissions. We'll see you next week.